All right. This is a review I've been really excited to do. I actually wanted to go to the early screening, but it was only on a day I was working. And I loved these movies. I actually reviewed both the Paddington movies previously, so that review is already up for Paddington 1 and 2. I adore these movies. And I was in a really bad mood when I went to go see these movies. And this is just a testament to how great these movies are. I was in a bad mood. Movie was taking a minute to connect with me just because I was in a bad mood. And by the end of the movie, I kind of cried a little bit. I felt so warm and good that I was like, man, I might go see this again next week. Now, I don't think I will, but I kind of wanted to because that's how just fucking delightful these movies are. Paddington in Peru is just a great example of just how charming this fucking franchise is. I will say, I will talk a little bit of spoilers with this one. I didn't expect to say that, but I think one of my points I have to critique this movie with. I think I need to talk some spoilers, but that won't be until the end. Now, I will say with this movie, it had a lot to live up to in the sense that Paddington 2 was a sensation when it came out, and became more of a sensation even after it came out. It had a higher review score than Citizen Kane at one point, which is not deserved. Like, the movie's great, but it's not that great. Um, and it became this wonderful film that everybody loved, and then Paul King announced he wasn't going to return for a third one, even though they're going to make it anyways. Paul King couldn't do it because he was doing Walk at the time, so people weren't really sure how this was going to turn out. And I didn't even realize that Sally Field didn't return until I saw the movie. I was like, is that not Sally Field? So, and yeah, so with all those factors, this movie could have turned out to be really mediocre, really bad, but honestly, it didn't. I think you can tell that it's not directed by Paul King. Paul King had a very Wes Anderson type feel to these movies. Well, that's not really prevalent here. Like, there's all kinds of great scenes in the first two Paddington movies with these interesting, unique transitions. The closer we get to that is when this painting kind of comes to life that the mother's working on at the beginning of the movie. But the heart is still there, and the soul of this franchise and these characters is still there. I mean, just like in the first two movies, everybody in the family is given a great emotional arc and center that all comes together by the end of the movie. There's lots of great British cameos and humor throughout the entire movie. Lots of great gags and set pieces. The one involving the little photo booth was pretty funny. You got one with the boulder going around. Things like that. You got all kinds of great stuff. So like the core of this franchise is still here. I think it definitely feels like at some points maybe something is missing. And I think that does often boil down to directing just being good, but not Paul King good. And also, I think I think what's great about the first two Paddington movies, especially the second one, is seeing how it connects with a group of people and they learn to adopt. And this immigrant from another country, literally an immigrant from another country, like Paddington came from Peru, and seeing this community love and adopt him, and I think that's very sweet, especially in today's culture, like here in America, stuff going on. It just adds a lot to me personally to see that in a film that I find really beautiful. And I think this movie misses that in the sense that, yes, it is about that. It is about a lot of the emotions of that, but you don't really see that as much because they're in another country. It's more about action set pieces. And they're really good action set pieces. But by the end of this movie, you kind of learn to forget all that, and you just learn to accept that this is just a delightful movie that's very funny, very clever. Has a great cameo at the end of the movie, at the end of the credits. I will not spoil. Truly wonderful. They say they're going to do a fourth one. This movie made a lot of money. I don't know if I'm fully here for it. Now let's talk into spoilers. The reason I'm not fully here for the sequel to this movie is I think this movie brings the themes around full circle. I mean, the franchise starts with Aunt Lucy dropping him off in London, going home to the retired home for bears, and Paddington gets adopted by this family. And then this one, he finally becomes, excuse me, a legal citizen, gets his passport, and he's learned to accept his life at home. And by the end of this movie, he finds out where he came from. These El Dorado bears, and they come to visit him, and he has more family than he knows what to do with. And so I feel like there is no character arc for any of these characters left. None of them. Now, I am glad that it looks like we're dropping Mrs. Bird as a character. We're going to drop some of these characters, because while they are really great at doing certain things with these characters, it does feel like, especially in this movie, there was a little too many characters. Didn't really care about Antonio Banderas. Haley Atwell as this nun character was fun, but like she's a villain with another villain. It's like, okay, what are we even doing? There's too many characters here. And so I really enjoyed all that. I don't know. But Hugh Grant's cameo at the end was great. And I really did grow to really enjoy this movie and have a great time with it. I also love the fact that Paddington visits Hugh Grant in prison, which is just so goofy and just charming and wonderful. And I hope we get to see Knuckles or somebody in another one of these movies, because these movies are amazing and I adore them. If I have not said that already, which I have, but I feel the need to express it some more, because what a wonderful set of movies. Let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.